Greetings, I'm KatherineOfSky, and I hope to make your day refreshingly Swedish. This is a really hard video for me to make because it's really personal, and it's also culturally really hard. So I want to tell you about my diagnosis now that I've been in the hospital and they've done a lot of tests on me. I've had a CT scan, X-ray, MRI, and many blood tests. The other day, they took 11 vials of blood from me, and then the day after was 5, and the day before that, I think, or the first day was like 5, I think. So I've been bloodlet like crazy. But the diagnoses are like earth-shattering, and I'm kind of still in shock. And at first, when I was told, I just went full American mindset, because Americans view illness very differently than Europeans or Swedes. In America, things are very much your fault. Even if you have a disease like appendicitis, it's still your fault. Cancer, it's your fault because maybe you ate the wrong food, or you're drinking or smoking, or you don't exercise enough. It's always your fault. And doctors make you feel that way too. And so like when they told me like, oh, well, you have this and this and this, I felt very embarrassed. I felt very ashamed, but I had to think differently because I am a Swede. And in Sweden, it is not your fault. Everyone gets ill, and whether it's an accident or an illness or an injury or whatever, it's not your fault. I mean, unless you actually get a knife and cut yourself, that's your fault. But everything else isn't your fault, and everybody has health problems. And that's why we have universal health care, because we're okay with sharing that cost with other people. Because there are people who make a lot of money, and then there are people who don't make a lot of money, and those people might not be able to afford health care. So we help them with their health care, because we are all going to get ill in our lifetimes. We're all going to have some kind of an accident where we need to talk to others. Sorry, the nurse just came in and I had to pause. So anyway, I'll tell you about what I have. It's shocking to me. It's horrifying. I don't know if you'll find it that way. We'll see. But yeah, many things. So the first thing they told me, basically I came into the ER with my legs like jelly, had trouble walking, all this kind of stuff. And first thing they told me, you have had many strokes, many blood clots in the brain, my brain, which is horrifying to me. Makes me want to cry. I mean, and one of them was a centimeter big. I kind of don't know what did I lose, And the people that I've talked to have said my personality seems intact. It's fine. Obviously, there's some issues with walking, but I don't know if I've lost memories or something other. It's really hard to say. It makes me sad. But I'm not going to try to cry here because y'all got to be king, I really am. So we move forward. It's fine. And people who are thinking that it might be a TIA, it's not. It's TIA is a transient ischemic attack, which is like a sort of a pseudo stroke that goes away. This ain't going anywhere. This is not going away. And I think also that, if those blood clots had hit my brainstem, I would be dead, like literally dead. So I had a very close brush with death. So, yeah, it's something to think about. Hug your loved ones, Right. So, right, I have this paralysis with my legs. It seems to be like tiny muscles getting not working correctly. They're like jelly. And I noticed this as I'm walking in different ways, like when I turn. If you're turning a corner, for example, your legs move in a different angle, and there's some tiny muscles there, like in the hips, that just like give way. and you don't even notice when you're healthy, but this happens. It's like, oh my God, turning is hard. This is a skill. So anyway, I have been making a lot of improvements. I have been practicing around the hallways here, walking, faster, slower. I'm getting a lot better. I'm improving every day, and the docs tell me that's because I'm young, where my brain can kind of reroute and repair itself much better. But yeah, it's quite serious. It's really serious. So then the next thing is they tell me that I have high cholesterol, but not just regular high cholesterol, some kind of genetic disease that is making the cholesterol artificially high. And that's much worse than just, oh yeah, you're eating the wrong foods, because I don't eat a lot of like heavy foods. So I thought, it's going to be fine. And in fact, I talked to another healthcare practitioner. It's like, hey, I'm a bodybuilder. Try these kind of supplements. Your cholesterol is going to be fine. So I was taking those for months, thinking, because the doc at the clinic was like, oh yeah, you have high cholesterol. You should take something. And my mom had high cholesterol, and they gave her this pill that actually caused damage to her muscles. There is a pill that does that. And I was like, no, I'm not going to trust it. I don't, this is not okay. But I talked to the doctors here, and they have different pills now. And so I'm going to take that because of this genetic condition that I have. And that, of course, high cholesterol is a very big risk for stroke. And I also have high blood pressure. And the doctors, it's kind of weird because sometimes it's normal and sometimes it's a little bit high. So I actually put that down to migraines, because the pain really is very stressful on the body. And I have pain 24/7, like every single second. Right now, every moment I have pain. So having that is quite stressful. And of course, it raises my blood pressure. But the docs were like, well, you really should take something. And since I have like this massive amount of horrible diseases, I'm thinking, yeah, I probably should. So I agreed to do some blood pressure stuff. The thing I hate about all of this is like they make you take all of these pills, and that just kills my brain. Like, it's like you have to take pills for life. And I'm like, well, what if I'm on a desert island and I don't have those pills? It's not a reasonable fear, because it's probably not going to ever be the case. But I hate the idea of like depending on medications to survive. So yeah, there's that. I also have another chronic illness, which I'm not going to talk about because it's a huge shaming disease, and I am not going to be part of that. So just know. But they're changing that medication as well to be a little bit more effective, we hope. So yeah, have all that. And on Friday, they're like, hey, we have more news for you. And I'm like, yeah, okay. They said that one of my carotid arteries is 50% blocked. Yay. And they think that part of those blockages, like the chunks, broke off, and that's what caused strokes. So, yeah, I got that. And they put me on some blood thinners for that too. A special one that helps, that it sort of erodes those clots slowly, but also, or whatever it is, the crystallization of the cholesterol, but also stabilizes the stuff that's there so it doesn't like break off a huge chunk, because that would be bad, very bad. But they also have suggested I possibly need surgery for that. And I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds like a great horror film. They said you're going to be partly awake for this. And I'm like, okay, so yeah, just be awake and take a knife to my carotid artery. I'm like, wow, that sounds great. You know. So yeah, there's that. And then the other day, while I'm getting all this news, my other doctor walks in and says, hey, that x-ray you did, you actually have a bone infection in your pinky finger. So she's like, hey, we're going to do surgery today. They took a piece of bone to analyze it and find out exactly what the infection is, because so I went to surgery yesterday. It was nice. It was fun times. I was awake the whole time, slightly sedated, and of course my hand was numb. I couldn't feel a thing, and there were no buzz saws or anything scary. So that was good. Oh yeah, and one last thing. I may have a problem with one of my heart valves. So that's not great. Gonna have to get an ultrasound to check on that as well, and we'll see what happens with that. But, a lot going on, and it's terrifying. Honestly, it's really scary. So, but a lot of people have been curious, and a lot of people, of course, have been really supportive. Thank you so very much for all the comments on the first video, and for your support and your good wishes and all of that. It's really scary. And Matthias is gone right now, where he can't come and visit me, so it's just me here. And yeah, it's scary. So anyway, it's okay though. I'm following what the doctor's recommendations are and trying to. I mean, yesterday, oh my God, look at this. Yeah, my IV thing is here. But it was so crazy because before I went to the surgery, they tried this arm like 4 or 5 times. And then in the surgery, they're like, we have to operate on this thing. We got to remove the line, which was right here. So they tried 8 times on this arm. I need to grow more veins, I think. But it's like, sorry, now I'm rambling. But anyway, I am going to try to post like a daily update for you. My doctors, as soon as I'm stabilized here, I guess getting medication levels right and all that, they want to send me to an inpatient rehab unit, which is in Stockholm. And I'm kind of afraid of things because my cats, I was able to go to my apartment yesterday. They released me to go out into the world. So I took the bus. I couldn't get a taxi, so I took the bus to my apartment and took care of the cats. I got some more food out for them and water and patted them a bit. But hopefully Matthias can get home soon so he can take care of them. But he's out and not available at the moment. So yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd let you know all that stuff. And of course, I am so grateful for everyone's support on Patreon. And a few people sent me some gifts in other ways. Andreas, Blake, and Johnny, new Patreon members, thank you so very much. And it was Gabriel who sent me a gift in Patreon or PayPal. With not being able to make a lot of gaming content, I'm really grateful for everyone on Patreon who supports me. It's a lifeline. I can't tell you how important that is. And yeah, thank you so very much. So anyway, I'll conclude this video, and I hope you have an absolutely great day. I'm going to try to give you daily updates as well as these kind of like philosophical discussions as well. And also let you know about, the struggles that I'm going through, because I think that can be, possibly interesting or may help you in the future. So anyway, thank you so very much for joining me. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you next time.